What's up, y'all? It's Danny from the Wise Wolf podcast. If you have been following along, sorry it took me a little bit longer to post a new podcast. I just have been busy, and also I don't really force what I need to talk about. If a topic comes to me and I feel pulled to share it, then I will share it. I don't really have I'm gonna do one podcast a week type of thing, because then I feel like it'd be too pressured and forceful, and I just want, as the information comes to me and I feel pulled to share it, then I will do so. So I kind of apologize that it's not as regular as I thought it would be. I do have a lot to share. But so today I'm going to talk about how becoming sober changed my life, and I want to more specifically today talk about alcohol, although I have sobered myself from other substances, even down to caffeine and more sugars now. But I feel like what started the journey was becoming sober from alcohol, and that's what I mostly want to focus on today. Um, so kind of backstory on how I personally became sober and why I became sober is in September 2022, my close friend, had a wedding. I was invited to go, and actually no, it wasn't the wedding, sorry. It was the reception, so the partying, food kind of thing. I was invited to go because I was in the wedding anyways. So I had a plus one. I brought my boyfriend. My boyfriend recently just had ACL surgery, and he was on crutches, had the full cast and everything. And he had quit alcohol because he wanted a speedy, healthy, fulfilling recovery, because he is a BMX biker and a skateboarder. So he wanted to get back to it as soon as he could. And he said that before, when he injured himself, quitting alcohol helped the process. So he wanted to do it again. And I think he was also at the time doing it for his spiritual journey. I wasn't for sure if he decided that later on, or if he was kind of also quitting for the spiritual reason. But anyways, so he wanted to be sober for the reception and expressed it to me beforehand. And I previously kind of tried to quit drinking, but then I was it's not really I don't have a problem, I don't need to quit, blah blah blah. So I was just I'm just gonna have one drink, and of course one drink led to more drinks, because I actually did have a problem. I just didn't want to admit it to myself. So for a long time, I've always loved a good drink, especially at parties or going out with my friends. It's just something that we always did. It helped me I've had so much anxiety, and it was hard for me to socialize with people, and it just having a drink helped loosen me up and just be more myself, and be silly. It was just always led to a good time. So that's just what I've always known to do. So in the beginning of the night, I respected that my partner didn't want to drink, and I wasn't gonna pressure him. I was kind of I respected him. He actually that same year introduced me to spirituality, so I was becoming more of me, of who I've always meant to become. So before, I don't really think much about deeper stuff. If you know, you know. But so I was kind of new to that whole thing, but I was still there's a transition. I was still transitioning, and I'm always growing. We're always growing. But I wasn't yet to I don't even know how to explain it, but okay, I'm getting off track. Back to the point. So as the night went on, and the more I drank, I began to pressure my partner to drink with me. I was just one drink, it'll loosen you up. I noticed he was stressed because we both kind of have social anxiety. We don't like being around a lot of people. And I was it'll help you be less stressed. I'm come on, just one drink. And he actually got to the point where he was mad at me, and he left the reception. I was pretty pissed. I was it's not that big of a deal. I was drunk at that point, and I treated my partner like shit, and it was just a really bad experience. And full disclosure, I asked my partner if it was okay if I shared this story, and he said yes. It was just I hated the way I treated him, and I regret that. But also, it was a lesson, a really big lesson to me. So yeah, the next morning comes and I was like disgusted with myself. Like, not only did I treat my partner like shit, like, I mean, he was trying to be sober and he was on crutches, but I also did some other, like, kind of rude, horrible things that night. And I just felt like shit the next day. Like, sure, I guess I had a good time dancing, but I could have done that sober. And before this wasn't the only time I like felt shitty about being drunk and doing stupid things. Like, I've done this multiple times where I just kept getting drunk in the past and like the next morning just regretted like everything I did. And like at this was just like the breaking point. I feel like I knew my soul had a deep connection with my boyfriend at the time and I was becoming spiritual and I did not want to lose him and I knew he was going to be a big part of my life and I wanted to respect that and respect him. So that's when I decided like I was not going to drink anymore. I was going to like be in that new path with him because I just knew he was special and I didn't want to lose him. And also like I wanted to do it for myself too because I was more on this self-love journey now. So now that I've like given you the backstory, now I'm gonna like kind of explain how I transitioned. Um, Quitting alcohol was really hard for me. Um, Me and my boyfriend talked about it, and for him, he was like, I don't even think about drinking alcohol. Like it doesn't really face him as much. But it's like, for me, when I saw a drink or when I saw someone drinking, I craved it. Like it was really hard to be around it because I constantly wanted it. Because I knew, like if I just take a sip or if I just drank a beer, like it would just take the edge off. I'd feel less anxious, and that's just what I was conditioned to do for 6 years. Because at the time, I was only 23, so like I kind of was freshly out of 21 drinking age, but I was drinking since I was 15. So I was actually drinking for 6 years and I was definitely addicted. Um, a lot of people would say to me, like, if you don't wake up and need a drink, then you don't have a problem. And I totally 100% disagree. Like, I feel like that's describing an alcoholic, which is like an extreme version of someone that has a problem. Just because you don't wake up and need a drink doesn't mean you don't have a problem with alcohol. And even if you don't have a problem with alcohol, I think that everyone should try sobriety. I'm gonna get more back into that topic though later on because I just wanna go back, track back on how I kind of got my journey, and then I'll track back to that. Sorry, that's confusing. Um, so yeah, when I tried to like be around other drinks or my friends drinking, I just like couldn't do it. It was really hard for me. It was really hard because since me and my friends were like 23 and even my siblings and I were close, my cousins, my family drank, everyone drinks. Like I didn't know anyone that didn't like a good drink, anyone that's been sober for a while. I never had that role model or like knew of anyone, so it was really hard for me to be like that one that didn't drink. But yeah, for so long I just at the end of the long day like to have a beer or like a glass of wine, and it was just nice to just sit down and relax. And I'm also a single mom, so having a drink was always like the like I finally get to relax kind of thing. But I wanted to be the solution to my problem. I wanted to take my own edge off. I didn't want to have to rely on a substance to kind of like make that like happiness or euphoric sensation. I wanted to be able to bring that upon myself. I don't want to rely on anything. I feel like I thought it was normal for so long to like not think alcohol was a problem and just be like, oh, like a beer at the end of the day, like just to relax and like chill, watch the sunset or whatever, just like a beer shouldn't be a problem, especially since my dad, I know, I just remember he passed away a few years ago, but in my teenage years, I remember specifically my dad drinking every single day. I don't think I've ever seen a day without my dad having a beer. And as like I got older in my teenage years, he would drink more. Like he'd have probably 3 or 4 beers. He'd be pretty silly. Like he never like was a bad or like angry drunk. He was always super funny and like. But okay, I'm gonna get a little like deep here, so hang with me. I saw it as a problem don't think, I never would say it to anyone, especially my dad, but I could just like feel that he was like not happy deep down, and that he had so many inner problems with himself that he had not faced, he had not uncovered, and he just would numb it to have a good time. And I just like felt this like sadness with him. Like he wasn't a sad person, but he definitely had some like uncovered trauma within him, and alcohol definitely took the edge off for him, and that made me like very deeply sad. And I didn't really have anyone to I didn't really have anyone to talk to about this. But as I've gotten older and I've realized that I'm not the only one that has experienced this, I feel more like a sense of like calmness inside to know that like I'm not alone, and I know that this is a thing. But okay, I'm gonna go into like a whole other like topic now on things I did to help me make the switch to sobriety. So for the first year, I would say seeing alcohol would be triggering, seeing people drunk would be triggering, just like things about alcohol, like even to the point of like watching movies of people drinking would be triggering. And I still think it's like annoying. Literally every show or movie I watch, someone goes to the bar, someone gets drunk, someone is drinking a glass of wine at home. Like it's always involving drinking. Like America has so normalized alcohol, it's honestly disgusting. But one event like this that really stuck out is it was my really close friend's bridal shower, and they wanted to go downtown and go bar hopping, go to clubs, and I was like, I didn't want to miss out. Like it was my really good friend's bridal shower, and I was a bridesmaid. Like I didn't want to miss out, and that was such, I don't know. It was fun being out with my friends, but it was honestly pretty horrible. It was a pretty horrible night. I remember I did kind of smoke some marijuana. I live in Michigan, so it's legal. That kind of helped, but it was so uncomfortable to be around a bunch of drunk people when I was so freshly sober, and I am in a relationship, so I didn't want to like get hit on. So I remember I wore these like really really baggy clothes, and like I made sure like my hair didn't look nice. I mean, I don't even wear makeup. So, but I remember still being like looked at and like hit on, and men tried to like grind at me when I was out, and I was so uncomfortable. And I realized that not only did I not like alcohol, but I didn't like going out like that. And I have gone out before, but I'd be drunk and like not even realizing that I didn't even enjoy it. So it's like alcohol just numbs you to who you actually are. And that was very eye-opening to me. And after that, I did not like go out and do things I didn't want to do. Because so many times when I would drink, I'd be like, let's go do this or let's go do that, and go and do some like crazy stuff that I actually didn't even enjoy. Like I wasn't being my true self at all. And kind of relating to that, so like alcohol would kind of push me to do things. Like it would push me to like dance at a party, or it would push me to like go out of my way to like talk to someone I don't usually talk to, or it would help me to like open up. It would just help me to like do these things. And when I became sober, I promised myself that I would force myself to do those things even though I wasn't drinking. I remember I was at a Pride festival in my hometown, and they were doing like there was like a dance floor, and like doing Cupid Shuffle and like all these other dances, and that was the first time I went out and did something like weird or like strange without having a drink. I was with my son, and we went on the dance floor and started dancing, and the feeling of doing something that you'd only do before when you were drunk, but doing it as a completely sober person and being weird felt so good. Like pushing your boundaries and getting out of your comfort zone is addicting. Once I did that, I remember specifically doing that, and now I just continuously push myself and do things that make me uncomfortable, and it just helps you grow so much. I'm addicted to putting myself in awkward conversations. Like I try to challenge myself every day to do something awkward. Something I love to do, because I'm like very unsocial, I will, if I'm like getting groceries, or if I'm getting coffee, or if I just like have an encounter with someone just like that's more casual, I try to compliment them. Like it seems like such a simple thing, but I'll be like going to get my coffee to drive through, and I'll be like thinking about it when I'm like ordering. I'll be thinking about it. I'm driving up to the window, like I'm gonna compliment them. I'm gonna say something nice. I'm gonna like get out of my shell, and I'm just like, I really love your hair. Like you have beautiful hair, and I'm just like shaking, like just like telling this girl that she has beautiful hair, because I'm just like I'm so used to staying in my little shell, and I just do that all the time now to just push myself. And I think being sober has pushed me to be more authentic, because I associated drinking with being authentic. Like, oh, I need a drink, and then I'll be like less awkward. Oh, I need a drink, and then it'll help me to do this. So once I like took that out of my life, it forced me to be me. And I just think that was such a beautiful thing, and there's no way I could go back to that. Sorry, I went on a little tangent, but to my next topic. So now I'm about a year and a half sober. I don't get triggered anymore when I see alcohol. It just like I feel weird about it. Like it makes me sad that like people think they need a drink to have a good time, but like it doesn't make me. I don't feel like I need a drink anymore. Like I feel like I've finally healed that like hole that I've had in me for so long. And I'm happy I'm to the point of where I am now, where I don't feel triggered, because that is a hard battle and a hard thing to like overcome. So, I mean, everyone is different. For my boyfriend, he felt that earlier, but I feel like I had such a bad relationship with alcohol that I didn't even know I had a bad relationship with alcohol till I quit. And it's just beautiful to see like that transition. So something Tom Holland talked about in an interview that I kind of didn't even think about. So when he quit drinking, was he found out that he was like addicted to like cracking open a drink and like tasting some kind of like flavored drink. Like not even just the getting drunk or like drinking alcohol, but like he just liked that feeling of cracking something open and having like a yummy drink. And I didn't even think that much about it, but I also did that. When I stopped drinking alcohol, I definitely heavily relied on kombucha. I love kombucha. It's just so nice to like try different flavors, and like it's like bubbly, kind of like alcohol, and that really helped me to get off of alcohol. Also, CBD infused drinks are great, or kava infused drinks are great, because these are like naturally occurring things. Like CBD and kava are both natural, that can help you take the edge off. They like both of these substances kind of help this dopamine receptor in your brain to, I don't know the exact science behind it, you have to look it up, but it basically helps you become less anxious. Like they are proven to help relieve you of anxiety. So I think that's so beautiful. I know sometimes it's hard to find these drinks. You can get like bottles with little droppers. So like if you say just like you went out and got a Coke, you could like drop some CBD in it to help take the edge off if you're out, or just like I don't know, I just think that's so cool that there's like other things you can try and you can experiment with that as well. Disclaimer though, kava is not good if you take it a lot. It can be really bad for your heart or your liver, something that's not good to take a lot of that. But CBD is something that you, if you want like a nice little like anxiety free drink, something to help take the stress away, CBD every day is so beautiful. If you have the chance, I recommend the CBD Bible. It's super informative about CBD and how it can help you. Okay, back to the point of drinking. Sorry, I keep going on tangents, but I just have so much I want to share. But yeah, the replacement drinks helped me a lot get off alcohol, and I still like right now I have this GT's Alive root beer. It's it's not a kombucha. It's a mushroom drink, but it tastes like root beer. It's so interesting because I'm trying to get off of sugar now, because like kind of discovered that I'm very addicted to sugar. So this is like a sugar drink alternative because it's naturally occurring. Anyways, yeah, I love my little drinks. So yeah, circling back, to like kind of what brought me to sobriety is I'm really blessed and grateful that my boyfriend, I know I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for him. He's inspired me in like more ways than I can even imagine. He inspired me to become sober. Um, I feel like if you are considering being sober, it's really good to hear other people's like viewpoints, because I know personally you can't really talk, sometimes you can't talk to anyone like around you to help like converse and get their experience, and just like, I don't know, we're humans, we're meant to communicate and talk about problems to solve together. So if you don't have anyone you can really talk to about this, there's a lot of interviews and podcasts that you can listen to on YouTube and Spotify. um Russ, the rapper, really inspiring. He's been sober 3 months now. He just finished his tour completely sober. He talks about it on some podcasts. You can search Tom Holland, the amazing Spider-Man, and a bunch of other actors. He's been sober for 2 years. He's only 28, so he became sober when he was 26, also very young. He talks about sobriety on the Jay Shetty podcast. Highly recommend you listen to that. Will Smith and his wife have both been sober for 10 years. He talks about his journey on the Jay Shetty podcast. Recommend that. Jay Shetty, the one that has the podcast, he's been sober 17 years. He also was a monk, and he has the most popular and highly rated health and wellness podcast in the world. Oh my gosh, his podcasts are so good. You guys should check them out. And then last on my list, I made a little list of these sober people that I think are inspiring. Zac Efron has been sober for 11 years. There's a ton of other people. Once I found out that there's so many people that are also sober, because I felt like really alone. I thought like I was kind of like weird that a lot of people aren't sober, because no one really talks about it. But there is so many inspiring people that are sober, and it's like a whole little community. And I think it's so beautiful that there's a little community to support you during this. And I just remembered, Tom Holland talks about in his interview how like it's so normalized for everyone, for like alcohol in the world and people to drink, blah blah blah. But think about this: if alcohol was just recently discovered, and so like people discover alcohol and they're trying to get it legalized, and they're like, hey, there's this drink. It might make you mean, might make you crazy, might make you weird. It alters your brain to become this different version of yourself. Oh, and you cannot drive with it because you will not be able to drive. You will stumble. Do you think that like if people, do you think they would legalize that? No, they'd be like, that sounds fucking crazy. Why would we allow that? Like, that's a crazy drug, blah blah blah. Like, people would think that's insane. They would not legalize that. It's just been so normalized, and the world in the US makes so much money off of alcohol and alcohol tax. Literally the only reason it's probably still legal. Marijuana is proven, scientifically and mentally proven, that is safer than alcohol. I don't smoke anymore, but just goes to show that alcohol is just normalized, and it's actually just kind of a horrible drug. But also, not judging anyone that drinks. Not everyone has a problem. The sobriety life is not for everyone, although I think it could be for everyone. Sorry, I'm kind of contemplating myself. I just think that alcohol, I don't know. For me personally, it's just not good. I don't think alcohol is good. If you are considering the sobriety journey, I think you definitely should. If you have any questions or you want someone to talk to, just DM me on my Instagram. It's thrifted.wolf. I'll be happy to talk to you. Also, just like looking at podcasts or like people's stories, I feel like it's so inspiring to know that you're not alone, and to like inspire you to start your journey or to keep on going with your journey. Yeah. Okay, now that I've given my 2 cents for like 20 minutes now, I'm gonna end this podcast. Okay, I am so sorry. I'm not gonna end it yet. I didn't like explain how it has benefited my life, I just want to quickly like go over that. Number one, spiritually, wow. I have spiritually evolved so much with myself, with my higher self, with my angels, with just like, wow, it's truly life changing. I had a really hard time before, like meditating and communicating with like my higher self and like manifesting my dreams. Game changer. Everything is falling into place as soon as I became sober. Everything's working out for me. It's actually insane. My sleeping is better. I fall asleep like within minutes. Like I would have such a hard time before falling asleep. And as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm out. And I wake up feeling refreshed. I don't like have a hard time getting up and out of bed. My breathing and just like my body just feels better. Mentally I am better. I'm not like as angry or like, I mean, I feel like a lot of reasons helped that too. But just like overall, like wow, I'm fucking like a different person. Like it's actually insane. And I don't want to be the one like one of those persons that's like, oh, you should do it. It's a life changer. Like I'm not getting any money or anything out of inspiring you. Like I'm truly speaking from the heart. Like this has changed my life. I don't get anything out of you changing your life. Like I'm literally just like trying to explain what's happened to me and how like it can help you, because like I truly just want people to live better lives and I want to help you live a better life. So like truly, like even if you don't want to be completely sober, at least just like try it out, like see if it could help you. And then if you don't really see a difference, I mean, go back to alcohol, like by all means. Like it doesn't really hurt to try, you know. I want to say I'm sorry for rambling, but I'm not sorry, because I just had so much to share and I'm so passionate about this and my journey, and I just want you to know that you're not alone. Sobriety is beautiful, whether it be of alcohol, sugar, caffeine, literally anything. So that is the end of this podcast. I hope you liked my rambling and talking about a million different things. If you like this podcast, please give me a good rating, because it helps me to keep wanting to create more and pushing out new podcasts for you guys. So I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time.